He is co-founder Nasher Miles. Please put your hands together and welcome on stage Abhishek Daga. Come on, guys. I know we can make a lot more noise than that. Abhishek Daga, co-founder Nasher Miles. Please welcome Managing Director Tibb's Food Private Limited, Jasmit Tibb. Come on, I think we've all grown up on the first Frankie we've had was the Tibb's Frankie. Please welcome the co-founder. He's from Metro Brands. Please welcome Jaffer Panchwani. From Metro Brands, Jaffer Panchwani. He is the co-founder, HelloEDC. Let's say hello to Umargekar. And ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for the session is Chairman Retailers Association of India, Mr. Bijou Kurien. Okay, and can we have a collective round of applause for the entire panel? Mr. Bijou Kurien, Mr. Daga, Mr. Tibb, Mr. Panchwani, and Mr. Umargekar. Bijou Kurien has rushed from Churchgate where he had an important meeting to be back just in time for this panel. So thank you so much for being here, sir.
That wasn't the reason for Siju to delay his presentation. Anyway, I know it's the last session of a two-day conference. So obviously it's tough for those who are listening and still are here. And certainly what does happen is that as the conference keeps advancing, we also find both in terms of customer attention and audience participation, there will always be a decline or a depletion. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be speaking about the future of commerce. And we've defined it in terms of speed, convenience, and consistency. And when you think of the future of commerce, you know, a lot of us come from a background, I've been in this industry for long enough to know that there was a world before we had exclusive outlets. We only had retailers or dealers as they were called in those days. And then into that world emerged exclusive brand outlets. The first, of course, were Bata and Raymond, which have been around for almost 100 years in terms of being exclusive outlets. But then a few more companies entered the fray in the 80s. And then, of course, we had an exclusive outlets in different forms. One singularly for brands, other having a collection of brands, those offering private label products. So we had Shoppers Stop, Lifestyle coming in. Pantaloon, when it came in the beginning, was exclusively offering its own products. It wasn't selling other branded products, and like that. Then, of course, we had e-commerce, which came in. And then when the offline retailers thought that, you know, here is the newest threat which is there in terms of e-commerce, then we also had what you call as the D2C brands, single brands available only online. And that was then the next version of this. And then when we thought that that was, you know, about the evolution of retail, then suddenly we had quick commerce. And then alongside quick commerce came also services. And alongside services came companies like Urban Company, etc., which were then actually providing several services. And now the next phase in this will be quick services, which means that if you want a service like repair a door or fix a switch, you can now get it in 15 minutes as opposed to waiting a couple of hours even with Urban Company. So, you know, just about when you think that things have evolved and there can't be anything better, convenient, then you discover a new way that the business model gets reinvented. So here I have with me on the dais masters of businesses from different backgrounds. Large products, small products, food services, and personal accessories. So if we look at it, we have Jaffer from Metro, which is largely in shoes and now handbags too, isn't it? And then you have Ninad, who started with a passion, which is make high quality watch straps, and then evolved that into a business. Nasher Miles, which actually cottoned on to the fact that people were looking for more variety in the luggage that they were going to be carrying with them and didn't want the boring stuff that they would typically get. So between colors and collections, I think we have Abhishek from Nasher. And Jasmit, of course, has been an integral part of the food industry. Uh, and this goes back to, I think, your parents' time when they started in Bombay selling it out of the back seat of an ambassador car. And from there onwards, he's progressed to stores and various other areas. So I think Tibbs, Frankie's. And today you have more than Tibbs and Frankie's. So, but that's the other business which is there. So I just wanted to first talk about the fact that you all are those who've entered businesses recently or have been in business like Tibbs Frankie's for a while. And whether you've entered the business recently or you've been a business leader otherwise, or you've been a consumer otherwise, and starting with you, Abhishek, how do you see the expectations of consumers changing over time?
Sure. Hi, Abhishek here. So to answer your first question, we have been in business. So I had a couple of ventures, family business offshoots in the 2000s. And then when we started out this venture, the precursor to Nasher Miles was into online retail. So our first foray was into online retail. We became one of Amazon's and Flipkart's preferred partners in before the Cloudtail days. And from there, that's when we had our know-how of dealing with a number of categories, the logistics, the marketing, cataloging of number of products, and luggage was one of them. We were distributors of VIP, Samsonite, AT Safari, Caprizi in the online space. That's when we saw, okay, there's a gap in the luggage space, and that's where we can probably, have a brand out there with a large unbranded market, younger Indians traveling more and more. This was the travel space, and then the luggage space were definitely, an area which was ripe and exciting. And as we have seen over the years, there have been quite a few brands here, and there's still space for more. And that is also still the category is growing and poised to grow at a healthy rate,
And this growth is driven largely by, as you said, more Indians traveling, younger
Yes.
Indians wanting to travel more than the older Indians, which means that even the future, the market is bright and good.
Right.
And limited number of brands.
I would say there are brands now. There are more brands than there were the big
5 years
brands
back, yeah.
5-7 years ago. But there's a space for more. So in terms of perspective, 2017 when we started, 35% of the market was branded, 65% unbranded. Today we are probably at 50-55% branded, and the rest is unbranded. So it's still a lot of scope. And branded market is growing at a higher rate than unbranded market. And in that, online is growing at a higher rate than the offline retail market. So where we are poised, we are primarily online. Of course, since last year, we are into offline retail also. 20-25% of our sales come from offline, whereas for the legacy brands, barring maybe Safari, it's 25% of their sales come from online. So it's reverse for them. Yes, so it's primarily driven by the younger audience, to be honest, and not just younger audience, all of us, right, are traveling much more than what we used to earlier.
Correct.
And that is driving travel and the demand for luggage much more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Ninath, if I were to go to you, you've started a business on one of the smallest items I know, which is a watch strap. What inspired you to start this business? And how did you think about this becoming a business as opposed to being just a hobby?
It started as my own need. I am into watches. I love watches. I have been collecting watches for almost 10 years now. And with watches comes watch straps, right? So it's a very passion-led thing. When you are into, let's say, cars or watches or fragrances, you want to tinker with it. So I wanted to tinker with it, wear a red strap, green strap on some watch, and I couldn't find those options in India. So I started connecting with some craftsmen outside of India, some in Europe, some in Vietnam. I would describe to them, they would send me pictures of, this is the leather that I have. Then I would have in-depth conversations with them over days, saying what's the stitching technique that you're going to use, what's the lining that you're going to use. And the initial 4-5 years that I worked very closely, having conversations with those craftsmen from all over the world, was my grounding in understanding how to make the product, right? And I used to get those products shipped from them. My watch collector friends used to really appreciate my choice of watch straps, because we used to do a lot of meetups. Like if you have a coffee enthusiast group, you do meetups, right? So during those meetups, I had first-hand knowledge of what are the expectations of consumers. And I thought there is something there, because they said, even we would want to have such straps. So one day I just went to Dharavi, I picked up some leather. I found one craftsman who used to make very cheap quality straps. It took us 6-8 months to get him to the level of detailing that we wanted. And we made the first batch. And I showed the first batch of 50 odd straps to my collector friends during a meetup. And they said, wow, we would like to buy them. Then I've spent my entire life in marketing and brand. Then the marketing mind took over. Instagram page happened, brand name happened. Then people started following us, sending us DMs saying, I want this strap, that strap. 2 years down the line, a website happened. Then a full-scale business happened. Today we are getting orders from all over the world. We've already started exports in the Middle East. We are already present in, just in time, they approached us saying, we would like to keep you in our stores. We are present in a few more stores in South, in Bangalore. So yeah, the journey's just begun.
Great. And what's the range of price ranges of your straps?
So it starts at 1,250 and goes up to about 4,000 rupees.
Okay. Good. And genuine crocodile skin and stuff like that? Or you don't get those?
So there is a way to do that with proper certification. We don't do anything which is, not complied by the law. But we haven't yet got into that. So, but we do like really good leather, Italian leather. We also do innovative stuff. Like we are the first people to do a watch strap in khadi, a watch strap in tweed material. So, we are now experimenting with silk. So we want to bring like different options and, just have fun with it.
Great. Jaffer, just to come to you. One of the debates that many businesses have is about what is the appropriate blend between speed of fulfillment, convenience in terms of access, and the cost that you should bear as a business. And it's not just a problem, it will also be a problem for Nasher Miles. The closer you get to the customer, the more the inventory, the more the capital that gets blocked, but the faster the fulfillment. The further away you're from the customer, the less the inventory capital blocked, but then you're further longer in terms of fulfillment. So when you consider the footwear business, and given the fact that you can have one design, 8 sizes, then the same the basic design being the same, but different kinds of embellishments. How do you think about this optimum? And have you thought of a way to handle this technologically?
Thank you. See, initially, as you see that the buying of footwear was people used to come physical at the store. Like everyone would like to touch, feel, and try the footwear before they buy. But the scenario has changed now, right? People want convenience. So what we have done is that because since last 75 years we are there in the market, and then as and when there is a change required, we are always the first to decide and take a step ahead, right? So in terms of quantity, in terms of the variation, we have multiple brands what we operate. Initially we started with Metro, then we came up with a trendy fashion in Mochi. Okay, then we realized that there's further need with the teenagers, the college goers. We came up with a brand called Walkway, which is a value brand. So we're catering all type of customers based on their need. And apart from that, now since the technology, as you mentioned, that e-commerce and quick commerce is also taking up fast. Recently, I would tell you that this quick commerce, we thought we have just kept our handbags on this quick commerce. We were just trying how it will respond. But you see, on that Rakhi day, we sold n number of bags from the quick commerce. So it's basically the customer need, and based on the need, we are using the technology and the need of an hour, and then we to cater the customer. Thank you.
I see. So Jasmit, just taking on from quick commerce, one of the big debates in the food industry is about dining in, which is getting customers to come in and experience a brand by dining in versus deliveries. And then, of course, deliveries are what you can do yourselves versus deliveries through aggregators. And invariably, there is a challenge in terms of ensuring that you are able to profitably grow your business and balancing how much you give to who and what value do they add. So how do you think about the current trends which are there in terms of customers dining in, dining out, ordering in kind of behavior versus your business model?
Okay. First of all, good evening to everybody in this room. See, for us, like he said, he's 75 years in the business, we're 55 years in the business. So honestly, our consumers tell us what to do. We are blessed. I mean, at the risk of sounding boisterous, we are really blessed. We have people coming and telling us that, if you do this way, I think it will be more acceptable. If you do this way, it will be more acceptable. So honestly, our job is very clear. And our core product, which, tribute to my late father, he invented it, he coined it, he called it Frankie's. It's actually of the people. It's actually reached so many hearts through their palates that they themselves decide when they want to order in or when they want to go there and have their experience of customizing it. So we don't decide that. What we decide is the next gen of consumers. What we decide is what's the in trend. We have people who guide us. We've got hot maps, we've got heat maps, we've got everything coming in from the aggregators. We've got our own team on the field. So what happens is we get a very clear idea that this zone accepts deliveries. This zone wants, dine in. Like my South India market still believes that they want to come to the store. Mumbai market is now 50-50. The North market, they are saying that, we are shy people. आज मन किया तो हम आएंगे, नहीं किया तो आप please भेज दीजिए. Now what happens for a product like us, people have been having it over generations. It's not like somebody's come up and he says, I'm going to have a Frankie. So they know the taste. The toughest part for us is maintaining consistency and the taste when they have their first bite. So what we do is we follow the essence of marriage. Like I apologize to my wife 3 times. Sorry, sorry, sorry. And she says, for what? I say, sorry for yesterday, sorry for today, and sorry for tomorrow. So what I do is, we always have told our consumers that it will not taste as crispy as you get it off the hot plate. So they have prepared for it. They have accepted us and they said, but thank you for sending it to us because we become lazy. And for us, if we are in the middle of a meeting, what better than a Frankie? It's a working lunch. So we have now got backward integration done. We've got our packing changed. We've got our, production changed. We're using technology. We're using sous vide cooking. So we are evolving with people. Because for us, we're not serving taste. We're not serving fast food. We're serving a legacy. So that's where we have to be 2 steps ahead. And like he says, they decide what's going to be the trend. I can't say that with full confidence like he said. But yes, in the rolls category, in the wrap category, people do follow suit with us. What we also did is, we've gone 1 step ahead for the Gen Z, like they call it. We've launched something called Proti Roti. We are the Proti Roti, we are the first Indian QSR chain which used plant-based protein in a wrap. And for that, we were awarded by the US FDA as well. So we are going ahead and we are moving with time, and The best thing to do, I tell you, anybody says, I've got everything covered is lying. We all, be it him, be it me, be it him, and you, sir, we all have to evolve every year. And with technology, and especially now AI coming in, I don't know if my chefs will still be able to retain their jobs, to be honest.
So have you, you're an old brand, and over a period of time, you would have had the opportunity to kind of decide as to whether you want to expand your menu or not. And one of the biggest challenges, and I wouldn't say opportunities, I'd say a challenge, is in trying to figure out how to stay true to your brand, one, versus thinking that you can actually participate in a larger market. And how have you thought about that?
See, like I said, I'll repeat myself. Whatever we do, every time there's a message which goes down to my we're blessed with thousands of people working for us. My first thing I tell them is, Tibbs Frankie ko yahan se nahi, yahan se becho. I don't change that, sir. It's quite a monotonous message which comes in all languages. What we've also said is that the ace of spades is going to remain Tibbs Frankie. People are not going to come to Tibbs and say, give me a gourmet meal. They're going to say, yaar, meri Frankie de, jaldi karo. So what we are doing is we're evolving the equipment to serve them fast. So we're getting a larger market share. Also what we're doing is we're playing the wrap category very beautifully. We are getting multiple tastes in, like we are right now doing a research on Korean. We are doing R&D on a Kung Pao. So that all is coming in. Plus what happens is people expect largely an Indianized taste from us. So we're launching a range of grilled sandwiches which are purely non-vegetarian because we have one change doing vegetarian. So we're launching that, and we've already launched it in some corporates, and we've taken 40% of the market share already. So I think what happens for us, it becomes a little easier provided people justify that this is the same Tibbs taste, it's from the same home of Tibbs, it's monitored very closely by the Tibb family, and it has got the same taste and it believes in the same values of value for money and no gimmick about food. My father taught me something, and I teach that to everybody. Keep it simple when it comes to food, and especially do not mess up with the Indian palate.
Abhishek, a question to you. And this is largely about the fact that if you look at the luggage category, I always say that one thing I've seen in this category is that if you were to look at the prices for luggage in the category, despite inflation, on a 10-year period, 2015 to 25, you will find the prices have actually declined. Okay? Effective price has declined taking into account inflation. How is it that, effective prices have been maintained, making it more affordable because consumers are now getting richer, and every year you have, average per capita incomes increasing, but your prices have remained constant, which means that it is now affordable, accessible to more consumers. Then you've got more channels available today. Earlier, you only had offline and distribution. Today, you have offline distribution plus retail, plus you've got online, which is regular commerce as well as quick commerce. So when you see a lot more of the channels available for sale, a lot more consumers being able to afford these products, how do you visualize that the category will trend into the future? And how do you see Nasher Miles in that context?
So multiple questions.
It's a very
one by
large
one.
strategic question.
Yes. So, number one, prices have remained declined or remained constant. Not as such. You're right in a way because some materials have evolved. Polypropylene bags have become cheaper. Easy to mass produce compared to the soft bags, which are more labor oriented. But what you see now is, like I said, earlier they were branded and unbranded was a larger share, so you would get it for cheaper. Price points have not come down for the same product. Like for us, the average order value was, if what was 2,800 has gone to 3,200. So it's actually gone up. What has happened is your legacy brands, some of them, like Safari was always in the mass market, but American Samsonite and VIP both have doubled down on the mass market itself. Because India is a value-based market where the majority consumers are in the mass segment. Of course, the mass premium where we are is also growing, but that's what's happened. The prices of the same product has not come down, one slightly up, but people have entered into the mass segment. That is one. Coming to where does Nasher Miles stand? So today I can say that we are, if you say, in the top 5 or 6 brands in the country today. That said, we still are a very small number of that fragmented market. And so we have a lot of scope to grow. And all boils down to the fact that, the market itself is growing. We continue to grow at a faster pace than the market. I mean, that's our benchmark. As long as you can beat that index, that's important. We have just recently also started, just like Sir has entered into the handbags category, we have also entered, not in shoes, but in related products to luggage. Like we have doubled down on backpacks, which earlier backpack share was small. Now it's more than double digits. We have doubled down on the laptop cases, packing accessories, product categories like that. So these are more, and they're a little bit in the lifestyle segment. That's what we stand for, right? We are saying, luggage doesn't have to be just functional. It has to have a style, design, color, pop. So that's lifestyle segment is what we are focusing on. So we will always be associated. We are going to be associated with lifestyle. Just like watches or apparel. Yeah.
So Jaffer, just to understand this from you, in terms of online versus offline, Metro has always prided on the fact that it's a very, very strong offline model. And your sales engagement techniques, practices, etc. are quite legendary. And once you enter a Metro store, it's quite likely you'll at least walk out with one shoe on your foot. They won't allow you to walk out without buying anything. So if you were to come to think about it, there is a lot of, salesperson engagement with the customer. However, when you come to an online model, it's a very different ballgame. You're listed. Somebody looks at you as a picture. They can't figure out how does it look on their foot. They know what the price is. So how do you then kind of contend between these two in terms of what you do online versus what you do offline?
A very good question. See, initially, as I said, the customer would come to the store, feel, wear, try the product, and then buy it out. But now the Gen Z and the convenience of e-commerce has made the customer to shop online as well. Apart from that, what we do is that the offline, whatever services are personalized services, but we have used technologies and other softwares where the customer now you just stand and you select the shoe and then it will show you on the screen how it will look on your feet. So these are the new technologies. So if the customer wants, see, we are comparing it, if the customer is coming to the store, what is his expectation? And we are trying to meet that expectation online as well. With respect to the quality, whether it is online or offline, the quality remains the same. And Mr. Malik has a very nice thing. Always he says, मैं जूते नहीं बेचता हूँ, service बेचता हूँ. जूता तो खाली एक बहाना है. And then, the kind of services what we provide online is a quick delivery, payment, refund, exchange, or a customer complaint that we address. So basically, our online business is also growing simultaneously along with the offline. Because still many areas where people are, the old generation or the old people still would like to come. I have a friend of mine who stays in London, and whenever he comes, he says, "Mujhe metro jana hai, I want to buy 2-3 pairs of Da Vinci shoes and all." So still that services are available both online and offline, and there's no difference whether the customer buys from our website or from the marketplace or at our store. So we maintain the consistency everywhere.
So how do you use the online channel in terms of communication of your brand? what are the kind of things that you do?
So we have lot of nowadays lot of softwares which has come, and we have an exclusive department for the customer queries and everything. So they handle whenever queries are there. We have a mandate that it has to be responded within 24 hours, within 20, whatever it is there. Whether customer has a complaint, whether customer any issues that the customer raises, the CRM team is working 24 into 7 to take care of the customers. Because if we don't take care of the customers, we have competitors to grab them. So we use a lot of technology to address the concern what the customer raises on our website.
So in the previous session, which Siju chaired, they were talking a lot about personalization. And footwear is one business where there is great opportunity to personalize. Narrower feet, broader feet, the actual sizes which are there, heel heights, all kinds of things. So how do you use the data that you can pick out of what the customer has bought and tried in your virtual try-on in order to personalize?
Yeah, the very good question. This is, with this concept, we came out with a new concept called BioFoot. We have a brand called BioFoot, where, the customer can come and we scan the customer's feet. Here, this is an imported machine, what we have imported. And, it judges what type of a sole and how the sole has to be. And then based on his requirement, we make a special sole for him that exactly fit his feet. Some are curved, some are straight, some are, and then a lot of medical related customer which comes, with a short foot and all. So we have that brand also which caters this kind of a customer. And apart from that, the Gen Z now, as you see that a lot of the Gen Z is coming there, they are very fond of sneakers. And then we found out that recently we launched a product, I think last week, wherein, it looks formal, but then inside the sole and everything is of a sports category. So it's a combination. So depending upon the customer's requirement, we cater them.
I think Abhishek wants to buy one of those.
Yes, definitely.
And the
You're
other
most
thing
welcome.
you should consider for his wife is now you get sneakers with, the brocade of a sari printed on it, woven into it, etc. Because a lot of women are finding it's much easier to go to wedding functions with sneakers which look like sari borders
For that,
along with the sari.
we have a brand called Chimo, where, the clutch and the footwear matches. We have a brand for that type of customer as well.
I see. Great.
Thank you.
Nina, this question to you. Now, when you think about the strap business by itself, obviously at the price points at which you're catering to a certain segment of customers, both in India as well as abroad as you go along. And what are the opportunities that you're looking at which go beyond just straps?
Great
Like
question.
Abhishek spoke about the fact that from hard luggage he's moved into backpacks, moved into laptop bags, and very soon he'll also look at footwear and things like that. So,
Great question. In fact, I have personally been obsessed with that question for the last 1 year or so, because I know that we will not reach 100 CR with watch straps very soon, right? It will take us long time. So there were two directions strategically for us. One direction is go into this world of men's style, because that's the genesis of our brand. But there, what happens is that, any new products. So we were actually experimenting with sneakers. So sneakers, fragrances, and some special apparel were the three categories that we had considered. But what we came to as a conclusion, because of the stage at which we are, is that getting into a new product of which we have zero knowledge, then the whole learning curve starts, and you will have to put in that much of time, money, effort into that. And there is no way that we will not ignore our current specialization. So we have come to a conclusion that this niche that we have found ourselves in, so many customers like us, they like what we have to bring to the table. We are going to stick to that. And because I'm in the watches category, I know the kind of excitement that has happened in the watches category, especially post-COVID. And there is so much of stuff happening on Instagram. because of, the slowdown of the Chinese luxury market. India is the fastest growing market for Swiss watch brands. The entire Japanese watch industry focuses on India. So I think watches as a category is going to be the focus for us. Hopefully in the near future, we'll launch our own watch.
That's good. I think it's a great compliment to what you're currently doing. And the only other thing maybe you might want to think about is what about all things leather? So, you can extend generally, as you said, men's, wallets, and some of the other things like what Abhishek is doing, like laptop bags and stuff like that.
So we already have wallets, watch pouches, sunglass cases, which are the periphery products as we are calling them. But our core will continue to remain the watch because it's a very expertise-led thing. Today, not even Titan. See, Titan is just selling a product, right? Ethos is just a retailer, right? We want to become the maven of watches. How to wear a watch, how to style your watch, what kind of clothes to wear on what kind of watch, what occasions to, so that kind of maven-led knowledge and expertise nobody is doing. And if we do that, we'll be in a good position.
Okay. So, Jasmit, this question is, when you look at eating habits in Asia, what we have seen over a period of time have been significant changes in terms of eating in, cooking at home versus dining out. And dining out, I'd also add ordering in, equivalent to dining out. It's just that instead of going out, the food comes to your place. That's about all. What we have seen in markets like China, then Southeast Asia, Singapore, then Thailand, etc., is that no domestic help. All the members of the family are eating out breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then coming back home just to sleep. They've taken it to one extreme in China, where now they have apartments without kitchens, which means that you can't even cook in your house other than maybe just heat up something in the microwave. So how do you see, in your own experience, how things are changing in India in terms of, let's say, food, consumption of food?
See, India, if you're comparing to what you just said last about China not having, some place in China not having kitchens, I think India, fortunately, is really far from that. See, you have to also understand the demographics and the diaspora of whom you're catering to. Indians is all about emotions here. And till that is there, aaj bhi maa ka khana is maa ka khana. I still say that Tibb's Frankie is my mother's blessings. So one is that. Secondly, how India is evolving, IQFs are coming up, which is individual quantitative freezing, where chains like us we're waiting for technology to come, which is now come. So the freshness of the taste is not going. The freshness of the food is not going. But we are reaching people's freezers. We are now almost working and finalizing a fully frozen wrap for exports, for local, because we have Frankie friends all over the world. We are also looking at TV dinners. Like in corporates in south of India, we do a lot of catering. So we have TV dinners, what I call, because, in the UK when I was growing up, we used to have this concept of TV dinners where, the whole family would sit, take it out from the Marks and Spencers and you heat it. So India is going towards that, but Indian palate is very unforgiving. Asian palate is still unforgiving. The Western world will still accept maybe a paratha at sub 70 degrees, but India will not. Because we have the option of having garam chapati. If you take a brand which is called ID, what did he do? He reached people's heart with a paratha. And he stuck to the basics. So basically how we are evolving, we are reaching out to people, but we are reaching out with basics. We are saying we'll give you a chicken makhani gravy. You can add your protein if you want, or we have one section which has got the protein and we are sending you. We are saying we are going to give you the same taste. The nutrition qualities are not going to go down. That is the way India is accepting now. That is the way today a working mother is saying, okay, let's take a frozen gravy from Tibb's or from XYZ, because they're a trusted brand, they will not mess with us. Let's heat it and see it. So today, frozen food, sous vide cooking, giving food on the table, which is convenience food, all that is evolving with the technology which is coming. And yes, all of us which are established chains and which are, I mean, we were fortunate to be last year branded as one of India's traditional QSRs. So we carry a lot of burden on our shoulders. We have to make the change. Like last year and the year before last, PM asked us to work on millets. So we've got a whole section, we've invested in a company which is working on the millet dough because, you know, made in India has come big. So that is also a big evolution, people accepting different bases from wheat. People saying, okay, we are ready to accept. You can freeze it as long as when we microwave it or we put it on the tawa, it's as good. Even the protein, even the processes of the livestock or the vegetarian or the cottage cheese or cheese in India has gone to another level of quality. And yes, the best part is today's generation and today's guests, today's customers is paying for quality. So I think that encourages chains like us to say, okay, if you pay for the quality, we're going to go do the research, we're going to be out there, we're going to be as good as the Western world or even better.
Great. I know that we have a short while left, and I wanted to use this opportunity to throw open this panel to questions from the audience. We have, 4 great entrepreneurs and people who are involved with entrepreneurial journey. So if there are any questions, you could just raise your hand and somebody will come to you with a mic and then you can ask the question, specifically address it to who you want.
Hello, sir. I am Dr. Rohit. So my question is specifically to Mr. Abhishek. So when it comes to deciding how many channels are enough for a brand, let's say you have decided you are going for only one channel. So what happens is you get very restricted visibility. But if you are going for all the channels that are available and with a different price point on various channels, so it becomes a customer gets confused that whether to buy it or not to buy it. So how do you decide a balance where this number of channels is perfect balance for the brand?
I think there's no such thing as too many channels. You have to be present everywhere because your consumer is not only present everywhere, they are also comparing everywhere. Okay, so we started with D2C, marketplaces, then D2C, then we moved into offline retail. I think our limitation was not like it's not like we were deciding, okay, first we do this, then we do this. If we had the means, if we had the capital, we would probably have gone everywhere all at once. But typically that never happens. So you have to have your priorities right. We knew e-commerce to begin with. So we started with e-commerce and then we evolved over time. Now to answer your question about the price issue, yes. So that is something actually the traditional retailers faced, where they had a different price point for online marketplaces and they were facing a lot of heat because of that from their partners, from the retail partners. So that was our learning. What we said that when we approached our retail partners, the general trade, modern trade, we said, look, we will ensure that our prices in the online marketplaces, barring a few days, these days of Amazon sale or Flipkart Big Billion Day, which we really don't have control over the pricing, barring those 4 or 5 days in the year or 6 days in a year, any product that is available in your store, customer is going to walk in, they are going to check on the phone the price. Online will be same or more higher priced than your store price. So, their dealer margin, everything would be protected. Their sale would be protected. What we did, we introduced limited number of ranges in the offline space, and we maintained price parity on those. And how we are going to evolve next, which is something which most, if you see consumer appliances brands, mobile brands have done, there are certain models which are only available online, so exclusive for that channel, and it's the same thing. It would be the same product with a slight tweak, different SKU, and that would be different in the offline space or a quick commerce space, So you will have more or less the same product across different channels, but not exactly the same. And that's going to be the way everyone's going to evolve. Electronics, right? The prime example. Televisions, mobiles, you are not likely to get the same thing online, offline. The Vijay sales will always tell you, look, but it's, it's not exact. Is that instead of Q, it's R. So then, it's supposed to be acceptable. But that's how it is, and that's the reality, and probably we will also go the same way.
Thank you for wonderful insights and answering the question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So in that same point which, Jaffer, if I may pose this question to you, when you go to a footwear store, you always think that you can negotiate your prices. You go and see something, you'll ask a person what the price is, and they'll tell you it's a certain price, and then you want to negotiate. And then what happens is that online, because the customer doesn't have the opportunity to negotiate, you actually slash and say, so much discount. Abhishek was mentioning about different model numbers. But in the case of footwear, it's pretty much the same. You'll find them in the store, out of the store, online, etc. So how do you manage this price? If there is a dissonance in pricing, or if there is a dissonance, how do you manage it with the customer?
As Abhishek said, we also maintain the price parity, because otherwise what will happen is that the customer will come to the store, try and buy it from the online, and where, the store which has heavily invested in infrastructure, stocks, people, advertisements and everything. So the company also maintain the price parity in terms of the product, what is available online and offline. The only thing is that it's a convenience. Let us say in some remote area where the metro store is not there, though a customer should be able to access the product. So whether he comes to the online store or the offline store. Secondly is that there are multiple different category of the product what is available offline only and not online, right? So if a customer wants, let us say, okay, there are certain designs where we have a limited number of pairs, so that we will make available only offline. So the customer visits the store. But in terms of price, we maintain the price parity, so the customer does not feel that online is cheaper than offline.
So great. So if you were to give a piece of advice, I know there are lesser number of entrepreneurs and business leaders here at this point of time, but you give a piece of advice to many who are either aspiring or current. What is that one single word or piece of advice that you would provide? Let's start with Neenad on the left.
I can talk from the point when I decided to get into this. There is a lot of, questions when you decide to start a niche business. You are thinking, will an investor consider it worthy because it is not big enough? And I can give an advice on starting a niche business. Firstly, in India, there is no niche which is small, given the size of the market. Secondly, when you look at a niche business, niche is only the core that you're building. It's the foundation. And a strong niche foundation will always give, a lot of branches, maybe 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line. But I think it's a better idea to be a king in a smaller pond rather than, I'm sure same would be the case for Tibb's Frankie. They would have said one product, right? Look at them. They have become kings because of that one product. Now he's thinking of, maybe I can go into health, maybe I can go into this category, that category. But, I think the amount of time, effort and resource they have put in building and creating that really strong niche is what is, helping them leapfrog.
Yeah. So your piece of advice would be, even if you're
Don't be
entering a
afraid of
niche,
niche.
don't worry. It's a large enough opportunity. Jaffer?
I'll make it very crisp. First and foremost thing is quality. If you want to start a new business, you should maintain the quality. That is one of the reason why Metro has been last 75 years maintaining the same quality. Second thing is that consistency. You have to improve always and you have to keep that pace. And third is the speed. You have to walk along with the world. You can't stay behind. We have seen a lot of cases where, initially Nokia was the phone which everyone, but then when Samsung and other brands came out, they wiped out Nokia and Motorola. So you have to walk with the trend, walk with the people, walk with the world at the same speed, then only you'll be able to survive in business. Thank you.
Jasmit, what would be your advice?
First of all, Nina, thank you so much. My advice would be very simple. Is the same thing what I've been following. One is connect with your consumer. We're in the service industry, so it's always guests first. Secondly, anything you do, have very integrity in that purpose. So I always tell people that, Tibbs is not in the business of serving food fast. We're in the business of owning the customer experience from the first bite to a lifetime of loyalty. So for me, getting generations over decades to come and consume Tibbs Frankie was the lesson which I would want to any entrepreneur listening, that maintain quality, maintain integrity, do not cheat anybody. The consumer is smarter than you. Give him more than what he deserves. Let him always feel this is value for money.
Thank you. And Abhishek?
I think they have covered most of the amazing points, but if I were to add for entrepreneurs, people doing their own, wanting to start their own business, I think 2 or 3 things to remember. If you are in a inventory-based business, you're selling a product, you have to look at your inventory. That will make or break you. You have to look at your cash flow. I think that is another thing you have to look at. The basics of business, I think most of us, tend to somehow leave that, and maybe it's, the way while you're growing, you tend to, leave a few of these fundamental things behind. But I think while you're growing, if you do not, it's okay to grow slower, but grow in a solid way. So I just meant inventory. I think if you have to keep your track of inventory, if that's what you don't have, right? Jaffer bhai, you would agree. Inventory that's it. Everything lies there.
We have a system in a company that the store manager cannot keep more inventory. If we found he's ordered more, then he's penalized.
Wow. Great. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for sharing so generously of your experience and sharing so many lessons and nuggets of wisdom with this audience. So thank you very much for participating.